Hola, 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 Bafetu. Welcome back. Welcome to our new episode and yeah, man. Welcome to Dibalen Football Channel. If you're new in the channel, I'd encourage you to subscribe to this channel. I would really encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Um, we provide content, provide opportunity to engage and positive stuff, man. We don't exaggerate things. We give our opinion as it is. But yeah, if you have subscribed, thank you very much for supporting the channel. And let us turn on the notification button. Let us, enjoy the conversation in the comment section. Today we're speaking about Stuart Baxter, the coach, whether or not he's winning and executing his mandate according to Kaizer Chiefs. Of course, this is based on the Zoom, not Zoom, on the Facebook space that was hosted by Kaizer Chiefs yesterday. 7 o'clock. It took around 1 hour 38 minutes. There was the football director of the club, Mr. Kaizer Motaung Jr., responding to questions posed by the fans, raised by fans, and laying down the plan of the club and where we want to be as a club. And also is new in that position, and the position is new. So kind of giving an idea as to what is going on in the club. So for me, first of all, what I want to say is the Twitter spaces are a good space and is a progressive step, but I don't think they're sustainable, especially because Twitter is very toxic. Twitter is a very toxic space, and the Twitter spaces are very toxic. There's opportunistic elements. There's people who want to be famous. There's people who are chasing clout. There's people that are negative in general on Twitter, especially in spaces, and there's opportunistic elements of fans from other clubs, fans from other teams. Especially right now, we see there's a lot of fans that are bored with their clubs and they choose to focus on Kaizer Chiefs, and that's where the issues are. And especially if the team is not doing well, because they said the plan is to host the spaces weekly, if not weekly, monthly. And I'm asking myself if it is going to be possible to host these spaces if the club, when the team is not doing well. So another thing is that relatively in terms of numbers, yes, Kaizer Chiefs attracts a lot of numbers on social media. I think the views and people that were listening were about 22,000 plus. And remember, there's also people like me who went back to listen to the whole thing that was recorded on the Kaizer Chiefs timeline and stuff like that. So over, I think estimate over 50,000 people that kind of listened to the whole thing. So there's a lot of people. But if you compare it with Kaizer Chiefs branches, it's relatively is a very small number. Kaizer Chiefs branches host a lot of people, and I think Kaizer Chiefs should focus on branches, and I think branches need to be serviced, need to be attended. I think last year December, it was in Honeydew. I saw Kaizer Chiefs branch just before we played CAF Champions League. I think, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I saw Kaizer Chiefs fans and supporters gathering and having a meeting, and you go to Embalentle Secunda, you find Kaizer Chiefs fans gathering once in a while, going to Astridville branch, Tembisa branch. Emalukishin, Kaizer Chiefs is very much ingrained in the locations, and that's where we need to focus as well. That's where the club needs to really you know, take those spaces very serious, as much as we take the Twitter spaces serious. And there you get genuine supporters. You don't get people that are chasing, a lot of famous to wanna be and stuff like that. So, yeah, man. But of the questions that were asked, there's one that is around the signing of players that I found intriguing, and I think it is an obvious thing. So Motaung Junior was asked whether Kaizer Chiefs is really concerned about signing, quality players and stuff like that and stuff like that. His response was very simple, something that is well known, is that it takes two to agree in a deal. To negotiate, it takes two. It takes, in fact, it takes even three. It takes the club of the where the player belongs. It takes the agent of the player, and takes Kaizer Chiefs. And right now, the trend that we've been seeing, and is correct by saying that looks like clubs don't want to sell their players and take their players to Kaizer Chiefs. Looks like there's an agenda, especially not only clubs, even with your agents. You see, agents are becoming they get to be very difficult when Kaizer Chiefs is involved. Clubs increase the prices of their players when Kaizer Chiefs is involved, and that's what he says as sort of kind of hindered the progress in terms of signing players and stuff like that. And he makes an example with Mike McCabe, a very respectable agent. Many players that depend on him, that are under him, and he says, throws comments like Sepombule won't go to Kaizer Chiefs. He doesn't think that will happen and stuff like that. But Sepombule, Kaizer Chiefs is interested in the player, and there are rumors that the player is also interested in Kaizer Chiefs. But you get your agent that says that player is not going to Kaizer Chiefs, and you see that there's really an agenda against the club, and I think it is a valid point, but also we Kaizer Chiefs is known for going out there and looking and searching for talent. Mamelodi Sundowns is doing it right now. It goes to South America, fetch and search for players that kind of socially and in terms of football culture aligned to the South African way of playing football. And you can go to Zimbabwe, you can go to Uganda, you can go to Ethiopia and stuff like that. We've always brought players in South Africa, introduced players. Yes, it's always a gamble. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But I don't think the club should stop doing that. Umbesuma of this world, your knowledge Musona of this world, your Thomas Suiso, your Valerie Naha, your many other players that are coming from outside. Others we bought from other teams, like now we got him from Ujomo, but these players are coming from outside, from around Africa, and they played their trade in South Africa, and they showed their talent, and Kaizer Chiefs was able to give them an opportunity, and your international match and stuff like that. So Kaizer Chiefs should not only stop at looking for super sport, teams that won't sell to Kaizer Chiefs, super sport arrows, that they won't sell, Amazulu won't sell. So yeah man, but yeah, let's get to the main point, whether Baxter is executing his mandate. So when he was asked Kaizer, Motaung Jr., I said, obviously, when you look for a coach, or when we hire a coach, we look at three things. There's three things. Mainly, the silverware. We want to win. We must bring something on the table. 2, we must build a team. 3, we must align to the culture of the club. And we need to judge Stuart Baxter on these two. And he was very economical about it when he had to answer those questions around Stuart Baxter, whether he still aligns with the mandate. The first mandate is that we must bring silverware. We lost out on MTN 8. We got knocked out by TS Galaxy on Nedbank in a very brutal manner. We lost the CAF Champions League, by the way. Let's not forget that Stuart Baxter was in charge of the CAF Champions League final for Kaizer Chiefs, and we are not going to topple Sundowns out of that league race. It has not happened. So that's the first thing. I think definitely the guy is out of touch in terms of the silverware. As much as Kaizer says we need to look at the pedigree of the coach, the will to win of the coach, might have the pedigree, might be reputable, but he is not bringing Kaizer Chiefs anything. And in all the knockout competitions, he's the one to blame. It's his tactics, it's his decisions that costed Kaizer Chiefs, the opportunity to win a silverware. And yeah, man, I think that's the first thing. The second thing is the culture of the club, and he says, Junior says, Kaizer Chiefs plays the risky football, the attacking football. We need to, be outgoing, we need to be so expressive. There must be flair in terms of how Kaizer Chiefs plays. And you look at Stuart Baxter's team, very conservative, very defensive, and it's not easy to enjoy Kaizer Chiefs' game. Yes, it does win games, but it is not easy to enjoy the game that's played by Stuart Baxter. And as far as the culture of Kaizer Chiefs is concerned, really, the guy is out of touch. He's out of touch. That's the second thing. The third thing is the building part of the team. Obviously, you can't win anything if you don't build. We have examples of building. I can make a few examples. Lampard was brought to build Chelsea. Pirlo was brought to build Juventus, to rebuild Juventus. Didn't do well, but Lampard did very well. And you have now Xavi Hernandez brought to build Barcelona, and is doing quite a very good job. And it is aligned with the philosophy of the club, like Lampard, like Iniesta. And you ask yourself, and this is what Kaizer says the building of the club and the culture of the club, revolves around the core of the team should be the one from the youth, and the youth is the one that is really intact with the culture of the team. You have players that know the culture of the team from the under 20, under 13, under 12, under 13, under 17, under 15, your MDC or DDC. Those are players that are in touch and much more ingrained with the culture of the club. And you want those players to form the core of the team. And we have many examples in Europe, all over Europe, and I don't want to go back there. And you ask yourself, with this coach, last season there was something like that, let's be honest. The team that took us to CAF Champions League was the young players, was your Daryl Macheke, was your Blom, was your Ngobo, was your Bruce, was your Ngezana and other players that took us, was your Happy Mashiane. And the arrival of Stuart Baxter, let us be honest, as far as building is concerned, the arrival of Stuart Baxter has destroyed that crop of the club, and we are not building anything. When Kaizer Junior says that we must build around the core of the team, there must be some core of the team, and that core of the team must be centered around the young players, the players from the academy, players from development. That is not happening at Kaizer Chiefs, and Kaizer Chiefs team is dominated by old guys, Mpahlele, Mato, Cardoso, Nange, Parker, Nukovic, Castro, Billiard. All of them are over the age of 30. And you ask yourself, what are we building? We are not building. So the guy is failing in terms of building, is failing in terms of the culture, and has failed in terms of the silverware, bringing silverware. I would be very surprised if Kaizer Chiefs keeps him. I'd be very surprised if Kaizer Chiefs keeps him, and we think there's something that can come out of this guy. There's nothing that will come out of this guy. I'm still Baxter out. I've not changed. I saw somebody accuse me, says I'm becoming soft on Stuart Baxter. Really, the guy needs to be out of Kaizer Chiefs. He's not the hope that we're looking for. He's not the land that we were promised. He's not the vision that we think the club is looking at. And I'm thinking, hope that everyone is in tune with me on this one. I hope that everyone is in tune with me on this one. Let me hear your views. Dibalen Football Channel, Kaizer Chiefs Football Channel. Football from the fans' perspective. Love and peace, Bafit.